meeting to order, and we, in absence of an invocation, we'll just go right to the Pledge of Allegiance tonight. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll move us to item number 3, approval of agenda. We are going to be removing one item from the agenda. It will be item number 6. We have an incomplete application, and so we'll try to address that at our next council meeting. So with that, we'll approve agenda.
I'll move the agenda as appended.
Second.
We have a motion, Mary, second, John. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
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 Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item 4, approve consent calendar, which is the minutes from our May 13th meeting and the payment of bills.
So moved.
Second.
Motion from John, second by Mary. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Item number 5, consider second reading of the adoption of ordinance 556 to vacate a portion of the north-south alley located north of Pleasant Avenue Northeast between 2nd Avenue Northeast and 3rd Street Northeast.
So we did the first reading at our last meeting. Again, this is a short segment of alley just west of the high school parking lot, north of the high school. Recommend approval.
So.
Second. Motion Doug, second Blake. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. We'll move to item 7. Consider first reading of ordinance 557 regarding the sale of property.
So this is the first reading for the city-owned property between 8th Street and 9th Street and Highway 10 and 2nd Avenue. Even though with the credit union project that we talked about, they aren't buying all of it, we do have the ability to do the ordinance so that in the future we don't have to come back and do another ordinance when we sell the other pieces. So this would be basically all of the property that the city of Staples owns on that block. And I would recommend that you give it the first reading.
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mary, second by Mary Jo. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Move us to item 8, consider purchase agreement with Mid-Minnesota Federal Credit Union for city-owned property in Block 11, Series 1st Edition.
So 2 weeks ago, we did have representatives from Mid-Minnesota and also from their architecture firm HTG came with the proposal. What we have before us tonight is the actual purchase agreement instead of the, I think it was called an intent to purchase. But so again, what they would be doing would be acquiring 75 feet on Highway 10. And then I do want to point out variance on the very back of this, the actual site plan. The stuff on the north side of the alley, they would actually be leaving us a 20-foot access there instead of a 15. That site plan actually came later, so I think 20 feet is more appropriate for access into the remaining city property off the alley, and they're able to get the same number of parking spaces in there. So that would be one variation, but just you know, as I stated before, you know, all of the costs associated with the closing are being paid by Mid-Minnesota, so all the survey stuff and the title work and you know, all of that. So otherwise, everything is what we talked about 2 weeks ago. So I recommend approval if we want to move forward with that project.
I'll make a motion for the approval of the purchase agreement with Mid-Minnesota.
Second.
Motion by John, second by Mary Jo. Is there any further discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. That brings us to committee reports, and we have one committee, the Parks and Recreation Advisory Board.
So the Park and Rec Board, met on the, 13th, and, I'll just kind of touch on some of the highlights here. Widseth is done with all of the specifications and plans for the boiler, room renovation. Their, engineer's estimate is right around that 175,000, which is kind of a threshold between going through the whole bidding process and going out for quotations. So they were going to send that out to a couple of contractors to get estimates or quotes from them to see kind of where we're at on that threshold. It'd be great if we didn't have to go through the whole, the whole bidding, because that takes a lot of time, and it shouldn't be that complicated for qualified commercial power. So I'll let you know where we're at on that. Otherwise, we'll be doing the bidding process and scheduling a bid opening and following everything there. Along with the boiler room renovation, obviously water is going to be in short supply. So we have been, we reached out to Timberlake to find out if it's a possibility to utilize their pool at some point during the day for aquasize. It's not much of a lap pool, but we'll see what the options are there. We talked about possibly installing a separate shower on the pool deck to rinse off, but at a certain point, there's not even going to be that option. So we will see. We're kind of exploring options. Shared with the Park and Rec Board some renderings of the locker rooms and possible floor plans of the both men's and women's locker rooms. The renderings are kind of cool to kind of see what it should look like. It's very different than what it looks like currently. So, Dower Lake Safe Room Project, I think I mentioned at one of our last meetings, the warning siren is up and operational. High Tech has processed all the paperwork, and the precast is kind of the long lead time item for that project, so that's all been ordered, and will show up and go to work as soon as they know for sure when that precast is going to be on site. Park cleanups. So on April 24th, Dower Lake cleanup project was done. NP Park was done. Pine Grove was done by Sentence to Serve. Rotary did NP. So always nice to have extra volunteers out there helping out our city crew. Arbor Day, May 21st did not happen because of the weather permitting comments, so it was done last Thursday. That was held, the actual official tree planting was held up at the community center, and Autumn Blaze Maple was planted in honor of Dr. John Burton. He's a longtime member of the Forestry Beautification and Park and Rec, and supporter of the community center. So Sally was up there, and it was nice, bunch of kids. I don't know what we had, 25, 30 kids came over from the high school. So it was good. Is it on Facebook yet?
Should be.
Should be.
I saw it.
Picture. I don't do that, so. All the seasonals are full. Had a little bit of discussion about what it would take to increase the number of seasonals out there. Swim lesson signups. Again, this is as of 2 weeks ago, so I'm guessing that everything is pretty much full. I think we talked about Pike Rodeo a couple weeks ago. Trails. There was, I think we talked about that 2 weeks ago too, right, Mark? So there's a lot of progress being made on some of the trail ideas, and appreciate that group working on that. So, that was the Park and Rec Board meeting.
Move on to open forum. Is there anybody that would like to speak at this time? If not, we'll go ahead and move to city administrator's report.
Just a couple of updates. Airport T-Hangar project is moving along nicely. I did have a couple of rain days last week, but the main structure, the structural steel is pretty much all up. They're doing some of the X-bracing, and then they'll start working on some of the interior stuff, sheeting. Probably a month to 5 weeks, I would guess, from the building being largely done. So it's moving along good. So just a heads up to the council, at probably our second meeting in June, we'll be going over the 5-year CIP. Present that to you and give you some time to think about that ahead of going into the 2026 budget. Citywide cleanup is this Friday, so 3 o'clock to 7 o'clock, line up on 12th Street, and basically the same costs that we had last year. And I know that the Staples Mountain Beyond Poverty group is looking for additional volunteers, anybody who has either a strong back, truck, trailer, whatever. I think there's 11 people that had signed up for help of one type or another.
So it's a bigger group of people that signed up for this year.
Yeah, and I think sending that application out or notification out in the utility bills probably had something to do with that.
Yeah.
Everybody got it. So. And there's some that have that do have the financial ability to pay, but don't have the ability to haul it or, physically can't load it. And, so, kind of a mix. Blue Spruce Properties, just to kind of let you know where we're at, we've got the purchase agreement all approved. The TIF plan documents last week on Friday would have gone out to Wadena County and to the Staples Mountain School District, which basically starts their comment period, the 30-day comment period. And then I believe on the 24th, council meeting in June, 24th, we'll have public hearing on that so they are, we shared a little bit at EDA. They have a kind of a draft site plan with 4 fourplexes and 3 duplexes on that one piece of property up there. So maximizing what would go there. As we laid out in the purchase agreement, it's a minimum of 8 units within 48 months, but as long as they fill up, it'll far exceed that. So things are moving forward there.
And I refresh my memory, they're gonna do that not all at once, right? They're gonna build some and then build the rest?
The most recent thing that we heard, and I wasn't in on that conversation, but there was talk about doing a 4-plex and a duplex right away, so that you kind of have one of each to show people what the options are. So so we'll go kind of jump through all those hoops and hopefully be able to get in the ground this fall yet.
Now, the Cardinal Apartments still have one area that they could build another unit, right?
Their site plan, original site plan had phase 3, which I believe was an additional 18 units.
Okay, is that why they have now renting signs up? Are they contemplating that, do you think?
Well, actually, I had a conversation with the building manager, and no, there's no vacancies, but they like to create a waiting list, and so he's, as the new manager, he put the signs out there just to generate that list. So when I talked to them, they were full.
Yeah,
So
that's why I thought they
it's
were
a marketing thing.
seeing how many they can have before they would come with the building of another one. And I'm sure if they get enough on a list, they'll consider putting up more.
yeah, and a project of that scale would probably be easier for them to pull the trigger on. Yeah, so, good stuff. That's all I have.
Move to adjourn.
Second.
A motion and a second to adjourn. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Meeting adjourned.